noticed that we've got a lot of high tech and I guess you could say in a lot of cases, some people would consider expensive machinery.
Yep.
But I think the word expense and expensive, they're kind of misused when you're starting a business.
Sure.
Give them a 10 out of 10 review for sure.
Oh man.
What does it taste like?
It's just...
We want to build a system where it's not reliant on hiring super experienced baristas, but actually you can employ people who have excellent customer service skills that can just deliver the experience.
I'm in Melbourne. I'm at Project Zero Coffee. I'm going to have a chat to Kirk Pearson, who's a host on It's Just Coffee podcast and the owner of this amazing cafe. He's got some really unique things that he does here in this cafe. And so I want to really pick his brain about what's new, what's happening, and what we should be thinking about for the coffee industry moving forward. So come check it out.
Hey. Jimbo Jones.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Beautiful.
Welcome to Melbourne. Thank you.
Very cool. Should we have a chat?
Yeah, please. I love it.
Well, thank you for having me.
No,
this is a beautiful cafe.
It's coming along. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. So how long have you been here for?
We've been open for 6 months, be 7 months and 2 weeks sort of thing. So we're a bit of a baby business.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you've obviously got a long background in coffee and behind a bar.
Ooh. Yeah, so I started making coffee about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So bounced around at a few well-known roasteries in Australia. So St. Ali would be one of them where I spent the most time. Axel, a bit of time at Honor Coffee as well.
Yeah.
So, and then I had my own business called Sub-Zero Coffee for a couple of years, which was very niche. So,
sure. Which did predominantly frozen coffees.
I beg your pardon?
The frozen coffee side of things.
Yeah, so what we used to do is we'd get really high-end coffees, and we kind of found, which a lot of the industry did, you were able to preserve it by just putting it in either a vacuum-sealed pouch or a hermetically sealed test tube. So a lot of baristas use centrifuge vials. Basically a customer could come pick from a list of about 50 coffees. I want this one, and we could make it, and it was always good.
I mean, that's a real hot topic in coffee at the moment.
Yeah.
That has been around in Melbourne for a while. Can people pull that off in smaller cafes? Do you find that hard? Did you find that hard then, and are you doing it here?
Not really focusing on it so much here, but yes, you absolutely can. I think you just need to have, when we open this, and I think we'll touch on in a moment, is we wanted to really focus on workflow and service and delivery and speed.
Sure.
So it takes time, and it's definitely something you want to allocate a bit more time to be able to deliver well.
Yeah.
For example, if you pay $18 for a geisha espresso, it takes 20 minutes, doesn't taste as good. You feel like you've waited a long time. The experience isn't really amazing as a customer. Yeah. So I think we tend to steer away from that here. Yeah. Having said that, there's still some great places in Melbourne and around the world you can go and do that.
Okay. So if I own a small cafe and I'm thinking that I want to have a bit of a point of difference, is that something I should entertain or we can kind of add to the menu? I think you've done both.
I think so. There's a place for it. And even surprisingly, I think in like the outer suburban cafe is probably a little bit better, to be honest. I think, people think of being in the city as being a bit more sophisticated, which I don't really think is the case. Yeah. In a lot of cafes I know of that are out in the regions, whether that be in regional Australia or even, some random city overseas, that you can pull off a great menu like that and really captivate people's interest.
Yeah, cool.
For sure.
So with all that experience, you've obviously come to this point and gone, all right, what do I actually want to do? What works, what doesn't? You mentioned workflow and layout. What were some of the considerations when designing this place?
Well, I guess for here, like the reason we do it is that we wanted to give people a lightning fast, like a very precise, very quick and efficient takeaway coffee experience. Yeah. So when we designed it, you'll notice there's no seating inside. It's basically, it's all out here. Yeah. This is an alleyway, but over there, we just want a quick system for people to be able to order, pick up their coffee and go. And then so the design sort of features that. All the back glass stuff's obviously at the back, and then you've got a retail section at the front here. So as people coming along, they can grab some retail coffee and go.
Yeah, you've got a nice workflow there.
Yeah.
To the left. What about behind the bar, I guess, from baristas that are watching and they're thinking about their setup and layout? Is there anything behind your bar that you reckon is kind of a bit of a hot tip on making faster coffee? Because it's, I mean, the quality coffee that's fast.
Yeah.
Like, that's always the thing. Or is there a point that we can't go there?
You'll notice that we've got a lot of high tech and I guess you could say in a lot of cases, some people would consider expensive machinery.
Yeah.
But I think the word expense and expensive, they're kind of misused when you're starting a business.
Sure.
So there's a difference between something being an expense and there's a difference between something being an investment. And so we invested in having the latest grind-by-weight grinders.
Yeah.
That just saves us so much time during service in not having to weigh shots. It also gives us the accuracy that we're after, so we know how much is going into each basket. So just all these little things that save barista time, they deliver the customer's coffee faster and more precisely. Then the coffee machine's got the brew ratio scales, so we've got a layer of quality and consistency there.
Yeah.
So that we can pull a shot, and let's say we want it to come out at 38 grams, it'll come out pretty close to 38 grams.
Sure.
There's like 5% variance, less than 5% variance there, which is awesome. Then you couple that with things like Uber milk, you all those little savings of time add up to a more speedy service, a more precise service, and a better outcome for the customer.
Sure.
To contextualize all that, I'm someone that's worked in the busy hospitality venue that serves the great food as well, done the whole frozen coffee thing. So I think what people want here in Melbourne particularly, and knowing this market, they kind of don't always want the fuss about the coffee. Sort of grab it and go and know that it's good.
Yeah.
And I think for our customers, they know that that's what we are.
Well, I think that's city, regional.
Yeah.
We have the same, we maybe got a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's chasing the same dream of just nailing it every day. You go get that coffee, it's consistent. That's where the recipes come into it. And obviously getting it out fast enough is key.
Yeah. And we haven't even scratched the surface of the future in coffee yet, or here, of what I think is possible. So there's a whole lot of data that we can extract from all of our machinery now that we can use to kind of refine the coffee making process.
Sure.
Data is king, people. In everything, in every industry, data is king. So we're long term, we're collecting that data and we're going to make improvements.
Great. And you've got some little differences, I guess, in like what makes your coffee making process different to others?
Well, I think a big thing, I think if we were to put it as a percentage, over 80% of our drinks that we make are milk coffee during the winter time. So we focus a lot on producing a good milk experience. So you'll notice, and I'll show you behind the bar in a bit, but we have embraced using a different type of extraction for making milk-based coffee.
Yeah.
So we have two different sizes. They're 8 ounce, 16 ounce. 8 ounce is a little bit bigger than your typical small at a cafe in Australia.
Well, it's pretty normal for us. So regionally, we're a lot more 8s than we are 6s.
Yep.
So
we use, so we have the 8, the 16, but instead of using like a 20 gram dose and doing a double ristretto or something to make up for that bigger sort of volume, we increase our dose to 25 grams and split it into 2 shots.
Sure.
So effectively, instead of it being 20 to 22 grams of coffee per coffee that you make, it's actually 12.5 grams of coffee per coffee that we make. That works for our style of roasting. The style of extraction works for the concentration of the brew. So, it's so strong, the espresso, that when I put the 8 ounce amount of milk in, it does not change anything. It's just really balanced and delicious. And then it's kind of like better than any method of making milk coffee I've done before. And it also saves us a lot of money. You think of, instead of 20 to 22 grams of coffee per basket or per coffee, it's 12.5. So we calculated that across the year, we might save somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000 for a cafe.
You obviously spent a bit of time developing that recipe, tasting, making sure it was up to that standard.
Yes and no. A good friend of mine, his name is Matt Perger, does Barista Hustle. We've always spoken about coffee extraction and how, I know a lot of people might think it's a bit wanky, but What does that matter if you're making a saving of that magnitude? Like, that's using your attention to detail, and you're using your power for good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're saving the world, Colby. You're saving yourself money, and you're making a better product.
What about the poor 12-ounce drinkers? What are the 12-ounce?
Well, I mean, they've got their choice between 8 and 16. We actually call our large size the Godzilla size.
Sure.
If you really want a large coffee, that's the one.
Get a profit.
Or you can just buy 2 8-ounce.
We've done some videos and content on cup sizes. It's a long video.
Yeah.
It's just, it's an ever evolving, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16. Like and every cafe that we set up, if you're thinking about what cups to buy, then you go and buy dining cups and they're all different again.
Yeah.
So there's a whole disconnect from takeaway cups to dining cups. So
yeah. Well, but to wrap up, to come back on the point, it's like calculating your extraction. So do you ever use a refractometer at Artistic?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not essential for everyday use, but if you use that tool to mathematically work out what the best or most optimum extraction is for you, you can make a better coffee, and B, save yourself a lot of money.
Sure.
Like, that's using a formula coffee to have a practical impact that's good.
Yeah, I think the point there is just thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
I mean, we're happy to have conversations with customers and work out what's going to be effective for their cafes, sizes, all these different things. But quite often people are kind of looking at the last guy and seeing what he did, and I'm just going to do that and I'll try to do it better.
Yeah.
But, you've got to come at it from a different perspective sometimes.
And the interesting part about it is, like, we don't really explain that to our customers ever. So all they care about is getting it.
Well, they only know a single shot.
Yeah.
Like, they don't actually understand recipes a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, and
Tastes good.
They don't need to be bothered with it. They get a good product, they get it at an affordable price and a good speed.
You ever tried to explain a double espresso to a coffee?
No.
To a non-barista?
But yeah, that's the beauty of it all. Like, we don't actually have to shove all these nerdy things in people's space. You can just build a product with it, and people will enjoy it.
Cool.
If they do.
Yeah. So you're 7 months in, so I guess things that you weren't expecting, challenges, anything, a lot of people watching our content are thinking about opening a cafe, just started, maybe they are 6 months in themselves, and they're, is it as hard work as you think? How's the experience been for you?
Yeah, well, it's definitely, if you're going to open a cafe, you need to be prepared to work. And
sure.
You don't do this because it's it's going to be a super big money-making venture. You do it because you love it. And if you make money, that's great. I'm not saying there's no opportunities for people wanting to start a cafe.
Yeah.
My intention was never really to make money. Random things just come at you like you wouldn't believe. Like, you might, when we were designing this thing, we had to, on the plans, we didn't leave enough space for access to a toilet. So it's like these random things, like the council have these sort of rules that you need to follow for building code and sort of thing that you must abide by.
Sure.
Or you're out lots of money. When we built this, there was a few complexities with the site where we had to wait to actually get the electricity connected by the city power or whatever it is, the people that are in charge of the electricity in Melbourne. So we could have opened 2 months earlier, but because of that, so you think of the truck. Just give them a sec.
Melbourne City.
Because of that, we probably lost
sure.
a lot of there was an opportunity cost for not being able to open. So I mean, a bit of a bummer, but you just got to be prepared for things to happen that are quite stressful. Because they will happen. Yeah,
they will happen, and it's very often. Like, I'm a part of lots of new builds. People are, excited about their new cafe, and they've due diligence, sure.
Yeah,
and councils. Yeah, they move at their own pace.
Just have like a savings buffer as well.
Savings buffer. Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. Got to have some cash in case of emergency.
Yeah. Cool. So the other thing that you do outside of this is the It's Just Coffee podcast. We're lucky enough to be here in Melbourne for Fine Foods. We're doing the Lovers Like a Roaster residence. We're also going to come on your podcast this morning. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
How's the podcast going at the moment? So
it's good. It's surprising, like when I get pulled up in the street or someone comes in here, or I went to Fine Foods yesterday and people said, hey, I've listened to your podcast, I've listened to every episode. It's strange because I've never really meshed with people like that before, or it's like people kind of know you without you having met them.
Sure.
So that's interesting because it's not like you post a video here and there. It's like you're posting hour-long podcasts. And now we've got 20 of them, so they do get to know you a little bit. But it's going really well. I think the industry kind of people are looking for something to listen to about the industry, about coffee, in a way that's not too nerdy. And I think Rohan and I try and strike that balance. Like we have like coffee-heavy content, and then we have him that kind of breaks it down and makes it a bit more fun listening for everyone. So we yin and yang a bit. We have some excellent guests. Very, very privileged to have you guys on later as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Rohan from Gold Brown, that is. He's obviously knows his way around a crowd these days. Big road. Yeah. I saw him at my last year. And he'd be one to walk around with. His face has been out there a little bit longer now. So
he's all around town.
He is.
He's all around town.
It's good. I think I listen to it because it's so relevant. I think I encourage other people to listen to it because it's just those snippets of good advice for cafes or just baristas. There's enough nerdiness to it that you get to learn about these different recipes or things you can do, but then also just encouraging the coffee culture, I think, is another thing. It's all going very fast and very equipment heavy and stuff. But I think we've got to remember we've got to maintain that culture of city and cafes.
Yeah,
I love coming to the city because it's just so nice.
Well, to add to that, I think coffee in general, as a drink and as a community, is becoming far more popular. Like there's huge developing middle class markets in Asia, Middle East, and stuff like that are all becoming more and more interested in coffee. Even in Australia, athletes and stuff getting into coffee, starting with brands. It's a huge, I wouldn't even call it an industry anymore, huge community of people. And it's like, who are of quite diverse flavors as well. It could be working professional that's got an awesome setup at home. It could be, someone who goes to the gym and they enjoy an espresso and somehow get into it. People's reasons for getting into it vary, but the genuineness of the industry now is so much more fruitful, I feel.
Yeah. I guess backtracking to that and people in the industry and people coming to drink coffee, you're in the heart of the city. I think we regionally have challenges with staffing. How do you find, staffing here, looking up, having the people and finding the good baristas for yourself?
Well, I think we're kind of trying to engineer our way out of that problem. So obviously I explained before that we have a new setup or like a modern setup, and that's actually going to change a lot in the next. We've already kind of planned out our next few years of how we're going to grow and change, and the setup will probably change enormously. Like the rate of development in this industry is so high. Like from where we were 10 years ago to where we are now, the industry's changed so much.
Sure.
And I think that'll only expand quicker and quicker. So I guess if I were to break it down to this issue, like we're kind of we want to build a system where it's not reliant on hiring super experienced baristas. What we would like to do is take a lot of the skillfulness out of making coffee, automate a lot of it. But actually employ people who have excellent customer service skills that can just deliver the experience. And where I think that will pay off is like the issue we have now is that even in an economic crisis, which the world's currently in, there aren't enough baristas in Melbourne as there are barista jobs that need to be filled.
Sure.
So, it's not like I'm just some wacky guy that wants to do people out of a job. There aren't enough people to do the job. So, and particularly it would be more acute in regional areas like you've got. And so we as an industry, we need to come up with solutions for that. And I think for me, one of the things I really, really don't like seeing on a job ad or something that people have advertised, 3 years experience essential. Okay, how are you going to hire someone when every other person they've applied with has had that same mindset, 3 years experience? How are they going to get that 3 years experience? So I think we need to be less picky as an industry. We need to start thinking like we're interested in developing this person.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset we've taken here. All the stuff, thankfully I haven't lost anyone in the 6 months that we've opened. And we kind of have a future planned out for everyone. And I think, obviously, that's a better way to operate, but it's also a better way to guarantee supply of staff. We want to look after our staff and bring them on this journey because we need them. And I just think it's a better gesture to not disqualify someone because they don't have experience, which they can't get because you won't provide it to them.
Sure.
We're kind of leading into machinery and engineering our way out of that part.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it is a very reasonable look at the future of coffee.
Yeah.
I think we've got to look after baristas but support the next. Yeah, because it is hospitality at the end of the day. To remain hospitable.
We're gonna stay on track here while those people walk past camera. You gotta love. Keep going. But anyhow, sir.
Yeah.
You think of an area like you're in Coffs Harbour, harder to get staff. If you set up a system like this, you might have to train someone for a few days or a week or something to operate it, but you give your customers less anxiety about new barista coming in. Are they going to do a good job? And you kind of guarantee yourselves a better solution.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. I mean,
you should. Everyone should. Yeah, don't be afraid of investing. It's not an expense; it's an investment. Good machinery.
Sure.
It's just.
And this is whether it's on this or not, but are you did you buy all your own gear? You got a roaster. I haven't even seen another brand. Is it all your?
So we're currently in a pretty good situation. So I was working for Axel Coffee Roasters, Kufra, over this up. And, I possess the ability to roast my own coffee. They kind of gave me an option where I was like, oh, we can roast it for you. So I source all my own coffee and then get them to roast it.
Yeah.
So it's just an easy way for me to save up my time, really. And then, I've got an excellent relationship with them.
Yeah.
I can source my own coffee, get them to just profile it and then roast it.
Yeah.
It's very easy. Not something a wholesale coffee roaster will do for everyone. I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
But that's how we've been able to do it. And that's very much a relationship thing.
It is, yeah.
I always say maintain your relationships because they'll sort of give you better outcomes of business outcomes. And this is kind of one that's very flexible for me. Eventually we'll roast our own coffee, but for the foreseeable future, those guys do it for me and they do an excellent job.
Cool. Talk is that, I guess, being in the city, people aren't always working from here. Is work from home coffee, so working from home killing the coffee industry?
My answer is both yes and no.
Yeah.
But yes, in the sense that the volume of foot traffic in the city for daytime, I feel like nights in Melbourne are back to where they were before COVID. But the daytime economy is really struggling because there's a lot of people that now elect to work from home. And in Melbourne, there's a large working from home culture, which isn't really the same as Sydney or Brisbane or some other cities in Australia. And so my kind of approach to this is as kind of modernity bites. I think the city of Melbourne particularly has forever changed, and it's not changing back.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't think workers are coming back to the city in abundance like they used to. The home brewing market is exploding.
Yeah.
So a lot more people brew from home, and they just don't have a need to come into the city as much anymore. So we're in quite a business-centric area, and I think for me, I don't think there's some circumstances where it will work, but I don't think I'll look at sort of a cafe at the bottom of a big business tower anymore. I'd rather focus on a tourist hotspot.
Okay.
Those business customers, they're not actually reliable customers. If there's, if the weather's bad, then they won't come to work and stuff like that. So that's not a personal show to them. Why would you come to work when you don't have to commute for an hour?
Yeah.
You can save money on the commute. You can take care of your kids or whatever. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But I think as an industry, rather than kind of being upset about it, we kind of need to, understand that, the conditions have kind of changed. They're not really going to change back. And we don't have to, it's a bit of a bummer, but, there's still plenty of opportunities there. Probably just need to be a bit more prudent about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're regional, so we've got a different kind of customers are relying on that holiday trade a lot of the time. But picking our locations is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for us, the rents are so high in Melbourne.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to go taking this sky-high rent offer at the bottom of the business building because it might not yield for you.
Sure.
Like, what's the occupancy of that tower? How frequently do people come to work? So it's like, they're kind of more layers that you have to consider now.
Great. Now, I reckon we should drink some coffee.
Yeah.
Is there any particular coffees on the menu that you would want me to try?
Oh man, the strawberry cheesecake for sure.
Yeah. What's so special about this strawberry cheesecake coffee?
Well, we lean into the co-fermented coffees a lot. You know, which a lot of people kind of don't like.
Which means just for everyone co-fermented.
Yeah. So essentially it's a coffee that's infused with the flavouring and the fruit coffee. So
not tasting notes of strawberry, but literal strawberries.
Yes, tastes like strawberry.
Tastes like strawberry. Yeah.
So we lean heavily into that. So, you know, all our customers can come in and get like a strawberry tasting latte every day. Or they can currently we've got like a mandarin filter. So, come get a filter that tastes like mandarin. And then, the other day we had a mango lassi, had a cinnamon scroll, blend for milk. People love it.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like, as I was telling you before, I did the whole Sub-Zero coffee thing where charge $20 for, like a geisha for milk. It tastes great. Whereas now, and that's a 90-point coffee. Now I can charge $6.50, give them this co-fermented coffee. People love it even more, more consistent. And so I can give a 90-point experience without the 90-point price tag.
Sure.
So it's like, I love them. Consumers love them.
Yeah.
And is this something I drink every day? No. I still have my standard house blend flat white, but they have a role to play, and there's a huge customer base for them.
Yeah, cool. All right. I want to go check out this bar. We'll have a look at just a bit of a rundown of the equipment and we'll check it out.
Mate, done.
All right, so strawberry cheesecake.
You're starting over here, you'll notice we've got the big dose 25-gram basket. So that's a very large volume of coffee for one dose. Give it a little distribution, put her in here, looks all good. Now, coming over to where the magic happens. A couple of cups, 8 ounces. Put them on here. So the machine's obviously all programmed, so it tells you at the top what time it's running at. And then this bottom section here is the weight as it's pouring. So that should cut off close to about 38 grams sort of thing. And then that's exactly where you want it. So you'll see.
So it's not a high yield.
No.
So you're not even at 1 to 2, you're like
So it's a very high concentration. The total TDS of our coffee will often be around 13%. Come in, you're good. Come in. Set round for that. This has the exact amount of milk dispensing that I need. So we program it for 8 ounces of milk. So we've got our little 8-ounce button up here, and then that's ready to roll. So this is the strawberry cheesecake blend. Tastes like a strawberry cheesecake. Oh, it's not very good. I got a bit nervous because the artistic guys are here.
That's beautiful.
Let's get Jimmy to cap this off. I can get Jimmy sipping this and give him a 10 out of 10 review for sure.
Oh man,
what does it taste like?
It does taste like strawberry cheesecake. I mean, tasting notes of things are often elusive, but this does really taste like
strawberry cheesecake. It tastes like strawberry cheesecake.
It is just creamy.
That's the Project Zero
it is
difference.
Thick and creamy too.
Yeah,
just full mouth coating.
That's the milk. Using good quality milk is very important, which we do.
Yeah.
River Inter Fresh, shout out.
Yeah.
And then, using an agent, so the uber milk doesn't actually introduce steam to the coffee. It just expands it using heat. So there's no added moisture there. So it's like a more, you're right, more sort of thick mouthfeel, and the water's not diluted in milk at all. It's great.
Yeah, that's very cool. Mate, thank you for having me. It's beautiful here. Coffee's delicious, and it's really interesting for me, and I think our viewers, just to see how people are doing it a little bit differently, thinking ahead of the curve on equipment. So thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go shoot your podcast now.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and thanks for giving us an opportunity to sort of connect with your viewers and listeners, and we really appreciate it. And hopefully.
Any last wise words for an aspiring barista or cafe owner?
Just just start. There's no wrong time to start. Just start.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, just do it, and the rest will come to you. There's no perfect way. Just
Yeah.
make mistakes, learn from them, and keep going.
Great. Good advice.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Hooroo.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.